Welcome everybody to tea time. Hey! Okay, so this is the first iteration of what might become the Tea Time podcast. It's gonna be extremely rough because I have to figure out if I like this shit anyway, right? So what I think we're just gonna do for our first iteration, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was in a bath and got inspired, so here we are. The first thing we're gonna do, rapid fire. I'm gonna come to some random topics real fast. Probably didn't think about them too much before I said something about them, so I'll fit in with the rest of everybody else that's going around saying shit in the world right now. All right, let us see what our first topic is. Kanye. Okay, so Kanye has already shared with the world graciously and bravely that he is a mentally ill individual. I am confused as to why everyone else is acting surprised by the fact that a mentally ill individual is acting mentally ill. It causes me confusion, right? Like, Kanye obviously does have a huge platform. He's put out some amazing craft and is good in his lane, right? But it's kind of like that mentally ill or crazy, maybe we shouldn't use the word crazy, but that mentally ill off dude that's on the bus, right? That dude who's constantly chatting, saying loud things, just being, a vagabond. All right, Kanye is that guy on the bus. Now, you might kiki at this man respectfully every so often, might even take something from your interaction as some sort of forewarning of how to take care of thyself in life. But when that man says that you should quit school because they're miseducating you about Harriet Tubman's struggle and that slavery was a choice, you don't listen to him, because that is clearly someone who's not dealing with their own issues and desperately needs to. Now, as for people on the bus, they probably don't have the access to the materials that they need to take care of themselves. That is not what that part of the show was about. What is our next topic? Oh, the next topic is emotions. Some of y'all motherfuckers ain't dealing with yours. Now, I am fully aware that as a human being, there are things that I have not been dealing with as well. There are certain memories that have been locked away. However, I know enough about my emotions to say that statement, right? It is about emotional intelligence. It is about being emotionally aware. Let me tell you what emotional awareness does not look like. What it doesn't look like is attack, right? It's not saying, oh, I'm feeling ill, I'm feeling gross, let me push that onto or towards somebody else so that way they have to hold it and I don't have to deal with my feelings. My feelings about what I've done in the situation, what I've allowed to happen in the situation, and the fact that I have not communicated in said situation, right? And the people on the flip side, if you are the subject of attack as opposed to conversation, you need to piece out of that, okay? It is not your job to be someone's punching bag. It is simply your job to be a receptive, open, and communicative individual as a human being. Now, what this looks like, if someone comes to you and they're like, let's have a conversation or let me air what I'm feeling, okay, let's show up to the table. Let's be open. Now, what that looks like. That looks like, hey, I'm uncomfortable. You did this. It made me feel this way. In the future, I would like for you to do this. Or if there is no future, I don't think there's a future with us, but my hope is that you would maybe take this with you on your path. Here are some things that I've learned from the situation, and important part, allowing that other person the space to express themselves as well, because that is what a conversation is. So deal with your shit, ladies and gentlemen. Let us move to our next topic. Okay, we are moving to the topic of young white entitlement. Now, what is young white entitlement? What is young white privilege? What it is a whole bunch of young white people who consider themselves to be so surrounded by people who have different identities than them that they have convinced themselves that they are not a part of the problem, right? Now, this can show itself in many ways. It can show itself in the young white person who is constantly denying the fact that other people have it harder than them, right? We all work to be here. There's no such thing as privilege. That is a goddamn lie, and you need to work on yourself and maybe read a book that's not written by a motherfucking idiot. Thank you. Now, another way that this can show itself is in the white homie. This is the person that vultures Black culture so much that they think that they are now a part of it. Not okay, right? That is not, oh, my homie gave me the end card, so I'm gonna run around saying it at every party. That's not what we're doing. It's not okay. Don't ever feel so comfortable with me that you say the N word and then be like, oops, my bad, but it's cool, right? It's not, Derek. It's not. All right. It can also manifest itself in, and this tends to be young white women, but it's not always young white women. It tends to manifest itself in a way that young white women will come and they will try to be a capeless superhero and also a super powerless superhero, right? So coming, I feel so bad. I feel so guilty. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do with all this guilt. I don't even, no. Do not come to my table of plates with no silverware, right? You are coming expecting me to feed you, serve you. No, I'm not going to do that. You need to show up and be ready to facilitate, to receive if that's what's necessary, to learn where you can. Your job as a ally is never to be an extra burden. Also, on the whole young white people thing, let's stop touching people's hair whilst we're drunk. It doesn't matter. I'm not touching your dick while I'm drunk, so don't touch my hair. I'm not touching your boob while I'm drunk, so don't be running your fingers in my mane talking about, oh, that's gorgeous, I love that, ooh, look how soft it is. Is that yours, bitch? I'm gonna show you what is mine if you continue to play with me. Okay, so that is our topic on young white entitlement. I think we have time for one more topic. Any special requests, anybody? Ooh, all right. We have the topic of sex and the church. Strong topic. Let's see what we can do with it. So, you may know Pastor Michael Todd. Pastor Michael Todd wrote the book, Relationship Goals. Now, this is my pastor. I love him. I think he's amazing. I want to meet him one day. He, of course, is going into the church community with a whole bunch of young church followers and preaching the message that sex is good, sex is beautiful, and that's great. No pastor's really saying anything about that or anything like that right now. That's phenomenal. But he's also saying that sex must be contained within the confines of marriage. He's coming into your house, he's stepping on necks, right? Now, I have felt a large amount of contention when it comes to Pastor Mike and his teachings, right? I honor and respect the fact that he's coming to the community, he's coming with his truth, but let's also keep in mind the fact that Pastor Mike is coming from having met his childhood, like he met his wife at the age of 15, right? So we're not in the same boat. Not to mention the fact he is not practicing what he preached. He is preaching what he hoped he would have practiced. Does that make sense, right? If he's not preaching off his life, he's preaching off what he wish he would have done, then what are we talking about? Okay, so what I think, ideas, talking to God, in meditation with God, the ideas that I have been given is that it is extremely important to have discernment. I do believe that Pastor Mike is doing a fantastic job on talking about the power of sex. Some of y'all is tossing poon poon and woodcock all around the goddamn world, and it's a little much. It's also a little much if you don't know why you're passing out so much special goods, okay? If you don't know the fact that you're passing out all those special goods is because you have abandonment issues, neglect issues, trust issues, insecurities, might want to work on those, right? But if you are passing out special goods because you love yourself and because you like how it feels and you're being clean and comfortable, then do you, boo, right? So as a Christian, it is extremely difficult to be of the world, be modern, be a woman, be black, all of this at the same time as being a Christian. So what I want to tell you is what my school, like college pastor, told me when I came to her with all kinds of feelings about like sexual condemnation, right? And needing to move into a form of sexual liberation. She told me to change my prayer, right? I was having all kinds of panic attacks. I'm sure we'll do a whole episode about this if I feel like it. But she told me to change my prayer. Change my prayer to say, Lord, please give me safe partners, safe spaces, safe expressions. She told me that no part of me is too dirty for God, that God wants to be in everything, that if anything is keeping me from God or distancing me from God, like the feelings of condemnation that come from hell and brimfire speeches and preaches about sex, then that's not what God wants. God wants to be with me. God wants to show me and guide me along the way, right? So you might want to consider changing your prayer. Oh, what is that? It is the bell of the end. I want to thank y'all for joining us on this Tea Time podcast. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, please don't, because who cares about your opinion? Now, if you guys have anything that y'all want me to talk about or anything that you feel needs to have some tea spilt on it and some love spread through it, then I'm your girl. This has been phenomenal. Be good, lovies.